Welcome to Scotland, here at home with Miss Joan.
Today on At Home with Miss Joan, we are going to talk about Scotland. Today we're going to focus on the capital city of Edinburgh. We'll talk about getting on the hop-on, hop-off buses, using that royal ticket that they have that lasts for 2 days, that gets you into 3 iconic places. And we'll even talk a little bit about some day tours that you can take from Edinburgh. I loved my time in Edinburgh. I love my time in all of Scotland. Some later videos, we'll talk about the islands, about Oban, Glencoe, the Isle of Skye. We'll talk about all of that in some later videos. But today, let's focus on the capital city. What will you like about Edinburgh? You will love the architecture. You know, so many times you fly into a capital city, and honestly, that's the only reason you want to be in the capital city, is to fly in and out of it. I did not find Edinburgh to be that way. I wanted to spend a few days there. I love the architecture. They have kept that old-timey feel. You have so many beautiful streets that you can go down. The Royal Mile is just iconic. Let's talk for a moment to get you an introduction to Edinburgh. Whenever you start researching the capital city, you will hear about the Royal Mile. The Royal Mile is where you will find the tourists. They know to go there, and it is going to be jam-packed with tourists anytime you go to the Royal Mile. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. The Royal Mile starts over at the end of the mile, which is Edinburgh Castle, and you walk down. It's called High Street. It goes into Canongate, and on the other end, you will find the Palace of Holyroodhouse. And so all along the mile, there are places you can stop in and visit. You'll see John Knox's house. You'll see St. Giles Church. You'll find all kinds of shops for souvenirs. There's a lot that can be done on the Royal Mile. I allowed myself 2 days in the capital city. Day 1, we focused on the Royal Mile, spending time at Edinburgh Castle and spending time at the Palace of Holyroodhouse, and a lot of places in between. Day 2, I let myself focus on going to Dean's Village, which is this cute little village you can walk around. It just almost looks like it's straight out of a fairy tale. And then I also went on to the Queen's Yacht, the Royal Yacht Britannia. To help you get an introduction to Edinburgh, you've got your Royal Mile. Just a little bit off the Royal Mile, you'll hear a lot about Princes Street. Princes Street has a lot of great places to eat. It's got a lot of shopping. It's got a lot of your hotels. And all of that is considered Old Town. So Old Town Edinburgh has got your Royal Mile. It's got Princes Street. And then you'll also hear about New Town. New Town is where you can see St. Andrew's Square, which is also where you can find the super cute little Paddington Bear. The elementary teacher in me loved seeing little Paddington Bear. And so you've got Old Town and you've got New Town. They are both very walkable, but when I say walkable, be ready to walk. There are hills, there are stairs, and make sure you've got some sturdy walking shoes. Make sure you've got a good rain jacket, and I really think you can enjoy this city. Let's talk about the hop-on, hop-off bus tour. You can take a 24-hour tour, or you can do the 48-hour tour. That's what I chose. It's called the Royal Ticket. The Royal Ticket lasts for 2 days, 48 hours. You can hop on any of the 3 bus lines. There's a red line, a green line, and a blue line. You'll find that the red and green lines focus on the Old Town areas. They will go right along the Royal Mile, where your blue line is going to go out to the Port of Leith, which is where you can actually find the Royal Yacht Britannia. The red line is audio. You plug in earbuds, you can listen to audio that's pre-recorded. Or the green line has a live guide.
The city, Edinburgh, is just there. I believe it was set up in around the 1800s. As we come back through along the very beginning of Princes Street just now, we'll see this beautiful view of Edinburgh Castle just over on our right hand side.
So for day 1, you first have to actually start your ticket. I bought my ticket in America. I bought my ticket months ahead of time, but you'll actually start it, and once you start your ticket, you've got your 48-hour clock running. You wouldn't want to start your ticket like the evening that your flight lands. And so the buses start at Waterloo Place, and so I went to Waterloo from my hotel. It was an easy walk to get there, easy being a lot uphill, but it still wasn't far. And I thought I was going to find like a little spot to turn it in. I thought I was going to find like a little building there. It's actually just people who were wearing the flag that you see in the picture right here. You go up to them, you show them the QR code that was emailed to you after you bought your ticket. They will give you the official ticket that actually has little tear-offs that you will use when you are going into Edinburgh Castle, Palace of Holyroodhouse, and the Royal Yacht Britannia. I wouldn't attempt to visit all three of those in one day. I think it would rush you too much to try to get all three in one day. 2 in a day is plenty, plus spending some time maybe on the Royal Mile or in Princess Street or St. Andrew's Square, some of those locations. Day 1, we went to Waterloo and we got our ticket started. We hopped on the red bus. Now, when I say we, I'm not talking about myself and Miss Joan. Miss Joan did not get to go to Scotland. She stayed at home with Miss Joan. This was actually a trip that I planned for a teacher friend and myself. We've been talking about Scotland for years and how we wanted to visit. And so you'll see pictures along the way of myself and my teacher friend Pam, and we just had a marvelous time. When you get there, stop 1 right there at Waterloo, you pick your Edinburgh Castle time. And so we picked the earliest time they had available for us. I would recommend doing that because they say as the day goes on, you know, you get more and more crowds of people. This royal ticket cost about $100, which I don't know if that sounds expensive to you or not, but you've got to realize it's 2 full days of riding those buses, and it's getting you into 3 big places in Edinburgh. So I found it to be worth the money if you want to go to all 3 of those places. Edinburgh Castle is what you see when you see those iconic shots of the city. When you see those iconic shots with that castle fortress surrounding the city, that is Edinburgh Castle. It has been a royal residence, it has been a military fortress, and it is a national icon in Scotland. It holds the Scottish crown jewels, and I found that to be the most interesting part to me of Edinburgh Castle. I couldn't make any pictures there though, so I have no pictures I can show you, but you get in a line and then you go in, and of course there are guards everywhere because that's the Scottish crown jewels, and you see the king's crown, you see like a sheath that maybe like the sword would go into. Everything is bejeweled and it's stunning and gorgeous. So I recommend getting in line to go in and see the Scottish jewels. I wish I could show you pictures of them. They were gorgeous. Other places you can make pictures of, that was the spot that was restricted. I was interested in seeing things about Mary Queen of Scots. I enjoyed seeing a tapestry made by Mary Queen of Scots while she was imprisoned in England by her cousin Elizabeth. There's lots of little buildings that you can go into. You'll spend, I think, anywhere about an hour and a half possibly at Edinburgh Castle. Now, another reason that I would start at Edinburgh Castle to walk the Royal Mile is because if you start there, then you're walking downhill. Okay, if you start at Palace of Holyroodhouse and you go the Royal Mile, you're going to be walking uphill the whole way. So that's my little tip. I would start at Edinburgh Castle and then just start moving your way down the Royal Mile. What does the Royal Mile have? It has tons of little souvenir shops you can go in, all those things that you might want to buy as a tourist. You can find all of that on the Royal Mile. There's also just some beautiful little streets to go down. You've probably seen images of Victoria Street. It's got the beautiful colored buildings right there on Victoria Street. It's gorgeous. Now, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you will know that Victoria Street is supposed to be the inspiration for Diagon Alley. And actually on that street, they have a Harry Potter store you can go in called Museum Context. To be honest, I did go in it, and it was smaller than I was expecting. It's got some stairs you can go up, and you can see the different floors. There's all kind of shops on beautiful Victoria Street. Close to there is an area called Greyfriars Bobby. You will recognize that as an iconic place where people make pictures right there at the little dog. Now, you are not supposed to rub the dog's nose. For some reason, tourists all want to rub the dog's nose. And so make your picture there, but Leave the statues and things in their place. Leave them as nice as they were when you found them. Close by, you'll find Greyfriars Kirkyard. You will find that in Scotland, the word kirk means church. So when I say kirkyard, I'm talking about a churchyard. And this was a cemetery where, once again, if you're a Harry Potter fan, a lot of the graves there inspired J.K. Rowling when she was writing the characters of Harry Potter. And so you'll find graves that say Potter, Tom Riddle grave. If you're into that kind of thing, you can walk around and find those very easily. As you continue along the Royal Mile, you will reach one of my favorite spots on the Royal Mile was St. Giles Cathedral. That place is gorgeous. I cannot describe the architecture in this church. I can't put it into words. Like, even my videos don't capture just how pretty it is in there. It was free admission. You could make a donation to the church either on your way in or your way out, but it was free to enter St. Giles Church, and it was beautiful. As you're continuing down the Royal Mile, you will find another church, which is called Canongate Kirk. Canongate Kirk, remember Kirk means church. Canongate Church is actually where the king attends when he's in Edinburgh. There's a little thing about the royal family right when you enter, and you'll find it's a smaller church than St. Giles was. And in the very front, you can see where they have marked off a reserved place for the royal family. You'll see a little crown, you'll see their crests, and it's right there marked on the pews, right at the front of Canongate. And then as you continue on, you will hit the end of the Royal Mile, which is the Palace of Holyroodhouse. Holyrood, what does that mean? Why is it called that? Holyrood actually means Holy Cross. And so this place started out as a monastery. It has the ruins of an abbey. At the palace, there are ruins of an abbey you can walk through, which is very interesting to see. And you can go inside of the Palace of Holyroodhouse. And so when you get there, if you have that royal ticket, you don't have to go up to the place where people are buying tickets. Instead, there are some workers that you can go show them your ticket. They will tear off the part that says Palace of Holyroodhouse, and you can actually then get your real ticket to go in, and you'll go in. Get an audio guide, which is very informative. This is a great audio guide. Use the one at Palace of Holyroodhouse. Definitely use the audio guide. It's actually interactive. There'll be times that it tells you to rub across the screen, and it will change the look of the room that you're in on the screen, and you can see it in the different time period. So I'll show you what I can show you of Palace of Holyroodhouse, but you have to know there's a lot of things that's restricted. You get to see about a dozen rooms. You can't make pictures of those, and no photography allowed in those rooms. You're listening to that audio guide, and it's so interesting. You get to see Mary Queen of Scots' bedroom. You actually get to see the spot of the murder of her secretary, David Rizzio. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I may not be. Still blood stains right there on the floor that you can very easily see at the spot of his murder. And all of that is explained in that audio guide while you're listening and walking through the house. I found Palace of Holyroodhouse to be an incredibly interesting tour. You get to go through the beautiful gardens that's there. If you're wondering what exactly is the Palace of Holyroodhouse, Palace of Holyroodhouse is the official residence of the monarchy in Scotland. I know you're thinking, well, what about Balmoral? I thought it was Balmoral in Scotland. Balmoral is actually something their family owns themselves. It's not so much part of the monarchy as it's what they own themselves, and they loved it. And yes, I did go to Balmoral, and you will hear about Balmoral in another video on At Home with Miss Joan. So keep watching, and you will in another video hear all about Balmoral. I loved Balmoral. It was gorgeous. It was worth the visit. You'll learn more about it later. The Palace of Holyroodhouse is also where, after the Queen's death at Balmoral, she was taken to this palace. She was taken there with her daughter, Princess Anne. I think you'll spend about an hour and a half probably at Palace of Holyroodhouse. So day one, we really focused on that Royal Mile, all the sights that you'll see. Yes, that is where you will see people in the kilts, playing the bagpipes, and so that iconic image that you're thinking of Edinburgh, that's where you're going to get it, is on the Royal Mile. Now, day 2, we wanted to get on the blue line. So still using our hop-on, hop-off tickets, but this time we wanted to get on the blue line because it will actually go to Dean's Village and the Royal Yacht Britannia. What is Dean Village? It is this fairy tale, storybook looking little village that is right outside, right on the outskirts of Edinburgh. It is gorgeous. You get off, I believe it was stop 3. We got off, you cross the bridge, it's called Dean Bridge. You walk into Dean Village and you're just walking the little pathways. There's a pathway down to the water that is just serene and beautiful, surrounded by trees. Dean Village is a quick bus ride from Edinburgh. We got on the blue line because we're using the hop-on, hop-off 2-day tickets. We got on the blue line, we're stopping right here in Dean Village, having a little walk through, and then we're gonna get back on the blue line bus and head over to see the Queen's Yacht. We're going to see the Queen's Britannia. In the summertime, these lines are coming about every 10 minutes, and so you're not waiting long for that next bus. And so you will ride for a few stops and you'll be listening to your guide. The blue line is gonna be an audio guide, so you're listening to that audio guide. And around stop 10, they'll make it really clear what stop is the stop for the Royal Yacht. And so when I researched Royal Yacht, everything said to get off at Ocean Terminal and go to level 2. Ocean Terminal level 2 is all they told me. And I thought, what is that Ocean Terminal level 2? Y'all, it's a mall, okay? You are going to find the Queen's beloved yacht in the back of a mall, okay? You walk into Ocean Terminal, you're literally walking into a mall. You go up the escalator, there's all kind of signs pointing you toward the Royal Yacht Britannia. So if any of you are fans of The Crown, I know I am, I love that show, there's an episode that's all about the Royal Yacht Britannia and how she had to make a decision to quit using this yacht, how hard it was on her, how much she loved it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Royal Yacht Britannia.
It starts you out at an exhibition, and so you'll see some images and things to read about the yacht. You'll see some of their clothes. I remember seeing Philip's, one of his outfits was there in the exhibition room. You'll be given an audio guide for this, which is another great audio guide. Use the audio guide. And because we're on the second level of this mall, what it does is it's allowing you to enter into the top of her yacht. Her yacht has 5 decks to it, 5 levels. So you're actually starting at the top and then you're working your way down through all the different decks and you get to go in pretty much all the rooms. This is a place that you get to see, I feel like, everything. You know, some places you feel like are very restricted on your photos and things. It wasn't that way on the yacht. You could make the pictures and the photography, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I was able to see the Queen's bedroom, which is not nearly, I'll be honest, as opulent as I would think a Queen's bedroom would look. Right across from her, kind of like an adjoining room across from her, was Philip's room. We saw the honeymoon suite of Princess Di, and who is now King Charles. And you just get to see so much on this yacht. We get to see the family room, and we saw their little board games that they would pull out and play. The family room looks out on the veranda deck, and they said that the veranda deck, the staff would pull out collapsible pool for the kids to get in and enjoy right there on the deck. And so it was just so many interesting little facts as you're going through all of these levels of the yacht. Of course, I personally loved seeing the huge state dining room that you know would have housed people like presidents and kings, and all of these people had dinner right here at this state dining room. You can see the laundry rooms. It's huge. That laundry room was very massive. You could see the medical area with their x-rays and everything right there in the medical area. In fact, we learned that there was plans that if there was ever wartime, for this ship, for this yacht to actually quickly become a medical ship. That was the plan that was in place if there was ever wartime during the use of this yacht. Every clock in the ship was stuck at 3:01. every one of them, because apparently that is the moment that the Queen left her beloved yacht for the very last time. And so they stopped all the clocks all throughout the ship at 3:01. If you have kids that are with you and you're thinking these kids are not going to be entertained during this trip listening to an audio guide, all the rooms have little stuffed corgi dogs in the rooms because the Queen loved corgis. And so it's for kids, they can be like looking at the room and trying to spot where the corgi is at in each of the rooms, which I thought was a cute little touch for if you have a family and you're thinking, are they going to enjoy this boat as much as maybe the parents would? Of course, we had to have tea while on the Queen's yacht. There is a tea room, and I enjoyed being able to order some tea and a Victoria sponge on the Queen's yacht. Now, just being honest, that Victoria sponge was nothing near as good as what Miss Joan could make over here at Home Miss Joan. Yes, I said what I said. I'm picking at Home Miss Joan's meals every time. I would say we stayed here about 2 hours because we did have the tea also, which was lovely. It was a lovely experience. And then we headed back towards our hotel. Now, where did I stay in Edinburgh? I stayed at Premier Inn Royal Mile. When I was researching Scotland and I was trying to pick where I was going to stay in each of the towns that I was in, it was an overwhelming experience because I was in Facebook groups that were talking about Scotland, and they will recommend so many places. And you're like, how do I know to narrow it down to which one? Let me explain why I picked this one. First of all, Premier Inn is a chain in the UK. So if you've not heard of it, it is a chain that you can find in London, you can find in other places. This one, the Premier Inn Royal Mile. There are lots of Premier Inns in Edinburgh. I can only speak about this one. This one is located on 33 East Market Street. 33 East Market Street is literally just one street over from the Royal Mile. We were one street over from that iconic route. And I loved being in our location. I personally found it to be a quiet location. I found it to have a good breakfast, coffee and hot chocolate and all those type things that you might enjoy. It was a clean place, it was quiet, and location, location, location. You are one street away from the Royal Mile. That night of day 2, we walked back over into the Royal Mile, once again, just one street over. And we were just walking around trying to see if there was anything we wanted to see one more time on the Royal Mile. And we heard some kids playing music. I shouldn't call them kids. We heard some teenagers playing music, and they had bagpipes. And I could tell they were playing probably what was going to be popular songs. That's what I expected from them. And to be honest, I don't know current popular songs. I just don't. And so I was expecting to not want to listen to these teenagers at all. Well, to my wonderful surprise, I stopped dead in my tracks because they were not playing current popular songs. They were playing How Deep the Father's Love for Us. Oh, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful to hear that song in the middle of this bustling city, in the middle of this bustling Royal Mile, to hear this song being played out with bagpipes and that, what you think of as a Scottish sound. It was beautiful to hear God being glorified. It was just one of those special moments that you couldn't have planned for. Those teenagers would ever watch this video, but if you do, I just wish you all the best in your endeavors with your music, because it really touched my heart that night to hear you playing and glorifying God with your music. Let's talk about restaurants that we ate at, bakeries, things like that. When you read about Edinburgh, you will get a billion recommendations of where to eat. Apparently, it's a foodie type city. A bakery that we went into that had been recommended in a Facebook group is spelled M-O-R, Moore Bakehouse. We ate at the one that was on Hunter Square, which is right off the Royal Mile, and it was wonderful. Had a cupcake and a Biscoff cronut, and they were both really good. Enjoyed that bakery. I give them 10 out of 10. Good job, Moore Bakehouse. You are delicious. As far as meals, when you are researching Edinburgh in some groups, you are going to be recommended Maker's Mash. That place is recommended to the hilt. I mean, you are going to find Maker's Mash recommended. So I was like, oh, we got to go there. I got to get a reservation. So I got a reservation. I will say I found the food to be very good. If you go there, you are going to get a very good meal. I didn't quite think it was worth the hype, because there is hype, but it was very good. So I give it credit for being very good. I will say that the sticky toffee pudding was to phenomenal level. And so if you want to try Scotland's famous sticky toffee pudding, I do recommend the one at Maker's Mash. It was phenomenal. The place that we loved that I actually didn't even know about before I went to Edinburgh is called Element. It was so good, we ate there twice. We had some people that we had met on a tour, and they had recommended we try Element, and it's right off of Rose Street. It was an easy walk to get there from our hotel at the Old Town. Oh, it was delicious. Like I said, it was so good that another night later on, we said, let's go back to Element. We know it's going to be good. And so the first night there, I had the Balmoral chicken. Balmoral chicken is actually chicken that is covered in bacon, so surrounded by bacon. And what is it stuffed with? Haggis. Haggis is so good. Now, do not research what haggis is, okay? I do not recommend that you research it, because that will keep you from trying it. But if you try it, you might be pleasantly surprised. I found it to be absolutely delicious. So I ordered the Balmoral chicken on the first night, and then the second night I ordered just the iconic fish and chips that you think of as having when you go to the UK, and it was that perfect fish and chips that you want to have. Delicious, 10 out of 10. Recommend the restaurant Element. Let's talk about if you've got more time in Edinburgh. Let's say you've got your 2 days that you have focused on Edinburgh, and now you want to go outside of the city. Yeah, definitely. There are great day trips that you can take from Edinburgh. By train, by bus, by like a day tour, a one-day tour. You can easily get to the town of Stirling. Stirling Castle is phenomenal. We joined a tour there once you got into Stirling Castle. We quickly bought our tickets, and I think it was like every hour on the hour, they're having a guided tour that goes off, and we just slid right into the start of a tour. It was perfect timing where you get your ticket and the tour is starting, and that man did a great job explaining the history of Stirling Castle. There's a quote that says, "He who holds Stirling holds Scotland," because Stirling was such the place in Scotland at one time. It was the castle, the stronghold. And so you'll learn about Robert the Bruce. You'll learn the real story of William Wallace. So all of you Braveheart fans will learn that Braveheart might be an interesting movie to watch, but it's not considered historical. And so you'll learn the real history of William Wallace. Stirling also has actually the Wallace Monument is there. I did not have time to actually go up it, but you can do that. You can actually walk up it. They say it's beautiful views when you get up to the top of it. Like I was saying about Stirling Castle, we enjoyed that tour. That man was so informative. And just between you and me, I liked Stirling Castle better than Edinburgh Castle. And you will actually find that that is not a hot take. A lot of people, when you're researching Scotland, will tell you that out of the two, they actually like Stirling Castle better. Same for me. You just kind of got to experience both of them to see why. But I really, really liked my time in Stirling. I liked Stirling Castle. Another day trip that you can take from Edinburgh is there are tons of day trips out to see Highland Coos, to go into the Highlands. There's all kind of day trips that you can take. I booked one with a group called Rabbies, and it was the one-day tour actually over into England to Alnwick Castle. I will review Rabbies and another group, Edinburgh Black Cabs, in another video because I did tours with both of those companies. I'll review them there. Because I did 2 tours with Rabbies. I did a 5-day tour that will be talked about in the next video, and I did this one-day tour that tell you who your bus driver is, and when they call out that bus driver, you go get on your van. I don't know why I called them a bus driver. I guess it's a van driver. You go get on your van and you head off. And they have so many tours that are constantly going off from there. We were on Mina's van. She was a great tour guide taking us to Alnwick Castle. What is Alnwick Castle, you may ask? Well, if you are a Downton Abbey fan, as I am, you will recognize it as Edith's castle. Edith, when she marries Bertie, that is the castle they call Brancaster in Downton Abbey. It is actually the Alnwick Castle. Now, if you're a Harry Potter fan, this Alnwick Castle is actually used as Hogwarts. So if you have kids that are into Harry Potter and you're into Downton Abbey, you would both love going here because for different reasons, you can appreciate this castle. And once you got there, you crossed over into England, which was a nothing kind of a crossing. You don't have to show your passports because you've already been cleared once you enter Scotland for any of the UK. And so we just crossed over very easily into England and went to Alnwick Castle. Alnwick Castle in reality is the home of the Percy family. They are the Duke of Northumberland. And this place is massive. I cannot put into words the size of this castle. There are no words how big this castle is. It is huge. There are places, of course, that I can't make pictures inside, so I can't show you like the dining room that they used for Downton. I can't show you some of the sitting areas they used for Downton. I wish I could. I can show you this entrance right here where the cars came in for Downton Abbey. This is also used in Harry Potter for the scene where the kids have to go to the Forbidden Forest, I believe it's called. And so they actually walk out this entrance as they're headed down there to that forest. And so we also joined a tour that was called Filming Locations for Alnwick. And the filming locations tour was great. The guide was very interesting, and he just told us about all the different parts of the castle and how it's been used in movies. Yes, you can be totally cheesy, and you can do broomstick training. And yes, I was totally cheesy, and we did it. We did some broomstick training. So this is the spot in Harry Potter where the kids learn how to fly their broomsticks, their brooms, and yes, you get to do it also. I thoroughly loved my time at Alnwick Castle. It was a beautiful stop. The Downton Abbey fan in me loved it because I knew it was Edith's castle. I knew that it had been a filming spot for Downton Abbey. All right, y'all, that gets us through my time in the capital city of Edinburgh, Scotland. I loved it. I can't wait to see you next time on At Home with Joan because we're going to talk about other parts of Scotland that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I hope you'll come back with us there. So I'll see you next time from At Home with Miss Joan.
At home with Miss Joan, would you like? You know, whether you like it or not, okay? At home with Miss Joan, please subscribe. Sure does help this old girl's channel grow. Won't you share with friends and family? You know, like your mom and them, okay? Comment right here and you'll hear back from me. You know, preacher, get back with you, my daughter, me, somebody will right here from At Home.